Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Thank you very much for watching this channel again and watching this video. Today I would like to share one presentation that I made when I was invited as one of the expert speakers during the COP Best 2021. I feel this presentation was quite interesting for me because in that presentation, I talked about the adoption of standards in energy management system implementation and development. I think it's worth it for me when I look back at my material. I was given only about 15 minutes to present that conference. Of course, conference have limitation in terms of time, but I think it's worth it for me to share with all the subscribers, whoever watching this video, about what exactly I want to elaborate further in that presentation. Okay, let me open my presentation. In fact, I was thankful to the organizer, for inviting me as a speaker in this conference. And I was given a slot, under the theme of best practices in energy efficiency and management. So I choose this topic because sometimes, not only sometimes, so most of the time when I talk about standards on energy management, just like I mentioned in my previous video, it's often being seen as, is a promotion for certification, okay, which is not really true. Because I don't blame anyone because the nature in Malaysia mainly, if you talk about standard, especially when it comes to the involving the third party for the auditing and so on, all right, and always being taught, standard equivalent to certification. Anyway, this topic was chosen adopting energy management system standards to achieve business and sustainability goals. In this paper, in this presentation, I share about what are the common, definition on energy management system and challenges, and also success stories. How energy management system, by adopting a standard, can improve business performance. In this conference, I was invited representing MySco, the Malaysia Association of Energy Service Company in Malaysia. So you look at this document. I think many of you may have seen this document. In all my presentation, all my sharing, all my training, I never left this to mention about this document, about this document on the Sustainable Development Goal. This was launched in 2015 by United Nations. Okay, the reason I'm highlighting this one because the way I look at it, the whole world now, especially companies, okay, and even countries, are referring to this document in all their activities because in this sustainable development goals, the document has 17 goals. Okay, 17 goals covers almost all aspects of development to make the development more sustainable, in terms of environment, in terms of economy, in terms of the balance of the wealth sharing and all that. Many. However, we can't cover everything in whatever area we are in. Therefore, when they talk about energy management, it's a part of we can contribute to achieve this goal. Okay, this goal is has a target by 2030. Okay, for this document, for the SDG document, normally they call it SDG 17 goals of SDG. Okay, so for energy management or energy management system, where we can play our role, I think the only thing that the only goals and out of 17 goals, the goal that we can focus is at here, at this uh, goal number 12, because goals number 12 talk about targets for responsible consumption and production. Okay, when we talk about responsible consumption, we cannot avoid ourselves from talking about energy. Okay, because we use energy for our daily works, daily operations and everything. And also we also produce so many things. So therefore, energy is a very important part in this responsible consumption and production. Therefore, energy management should be something that in these goals, if you do energy management properly through a systematic way, we can contribute to achieving this goal through goal number 12. However, out of all the 17 goals I can mention here, there are another about 3 more goals that are related to energy to me. The first one is goal number 7. Goal number 7 talk about access to energy. Not only access to energy for all, also clean energy as well. So this more for me more to the supplier of energy. For example, the utility company, they have to be look into more, make sure all the energy can be accessible and also affordable for all. Okay, so here, so energy management, okay, can be energy management system, energy management through systematic way is one of the key elements in adopting sustainability practices under this goal number 12. Okay, goal number 12. Because goal number 12 mentioned about, we need to adopt, we need to have a target to achieve sustainability practices, okay, of the natural resources. Energy is our natural resources for the global community. So we have to manage it. That's why it falls under the goal number 12, responsible consumption and production. So energy management. Yeah, based on this, according to this paper, I managed to find this paper. This paper tells that, all right, the implementation of ISO 50001, continual improvement framework result in operational changes. Having a systematic way result in operational changes and deeper energy performance improvement action, and that lead to energy reduction, okay, and avoided the greenhouse gases emission. This is based on McCain, okay, and 2017, okay, 2017. So there is a study has proven that it's not just talks, okay, it's been proven that by implementing a management system through adopting standard, for example, ISO 2001, it can lead to energy reduction, okay, through improved energy performance. And that when we reduce energy consumption, it can lead, we will avoid the greenhouse gases emission to the environment. Now let's talk about the fundamental. Okay, we have to get it very, very clear. So we need to know what exactly is energy management, and then how does standard is so important, and then how to make it ongoing through sustainable energy management system. Okay, I think I have shown this in my previous video, right? Energy management is all activities to ensure efficient use of energy in the organization. It's not just a technical activities. All activities from the top management to the support staff, from the engineering to the HR, for example, all activities. Even though the activity seems that not really energy related. For example, HR. All right, HR is not really directly to energy, but HR is important in providing the right training to make sure personnel are well trained accordingly to make sure that whatever equipment, how to use energy, everything can be more energy efficient. Okay, for example, procurement. For example, procurement may not be directly, but the impact of procurement, not considering energy performance in all the the energy intensive equipment being bought, we cost the company organization, use more energy than what they're supposed to be. Maybe just because we want to save a few thousand ringgit now because of the cheaper price of the normal technology, they have to pay maybe hundreds of thousands over coming years. That's my point. My point here. Energy management is all activities to ensure efficient use of energy in the organization. Because none of us, you can't find anyone, in any organization are not using energy. Okay, all are energy users. The only thing is that everyone will have different role to play. But how to define the role? How we can define their role based on different type of personnel? This is where to ensure efficient management of energy so to activity to ensure efficient use of energy, we have to do it continuously, right? Continuously means that we have to do it ongoing. We cannot be one off. It cannot be a project. It cannot be just one campaign. It must be ongoing. Okay, so it must be ongoing. Therefore, we need to have a standard. We refer to the standard because standard is a systematic approach, okay, on how we manage our energy use. Okay, through a systematic way. We got some guide, some framework, some kind of cycle, common cycle to follow. Okay, so what's energy management? So we need to do energy management continuously. We need to have a systematic way. So that's why we come to the energy management system. So what's energy management system? If you look at the definition, okay, as outlined by ISO 50001, okay, energy management system, if you look word by word, is a management system to establish an energy policy, okay, it's energy policy, objective, energy targets, action plans, and processes to achieve objectives and energy targets. It doesn't mention specifically only technical. There, you look at the definition. It doesn't specifically mention about technical. It's a system to establish policy. Policy is not technical. It's a management stuff. Objective is the management stuff. Targets. This is targets where require technical input because we need to know how much we can save, for example, and then prepare the action plan. Prepare action plan is not just technical matter. And then the whole process to achieve all the targets and goals is not only involving technical. Therefore, stop thinking about energy is engineering only. It is not. It is not. Okay, and then when we have energy management system, something ongoing, and we have to do it ongoing. So we must sustain the system. Okay, that's why we come to the definition of sustainable energy management system. So what's sustainable energy system? According to what I understood, what my understanding, is a process of managing energy use. It's a process of managing energy use. Why? Because to ensure, again, go back to basic, to ensure efficient use of energy. Ensure energy being efficient. That's why energy management. And then by adopting a system. A system. And system, you must refer to certain protocol, guideline, or even standard. And then when you have a system, the system should enable you, should enable the organization to achieve the intended result or the result, and then later for continued improvement. And then by having a system in place, it will involve the two elements in energy management, which are the people who are the occupants, who are the operators of the equipment, and the equipment itself. For example, why I'm saying this, the system, can connect the two. For example, okay, I don't see that you can't really do it every day to remind everyone switch off your light. Okay, you cannot remind everyone every day through the switch off the light. But if through a systematic approach, if you have a policy, all right, you know that your policy that you cannot waste energy. Everyone is being trained, being made aware about the impact of leaving the light on with no people around. That is different story. And of course, subsequently, if you come to this extreme scenario where if you don't do that, you can be penalized. So it's become this how we connect the human and the equipment. Another example, okay? If you are running a chiller, for example, the chiller will run 24 hours. Okay? The chiller doesn't know its performance. Running, okay? The chiller won't complain if they run 24 hours. But we as a human, all right, we know we can measure chiller performance. Therefore, we should know how to run chiller in more efficient way. And if you have the system, in the system, a requirement for you to what are the criteria? Okay, you have to monitor when you run the chiller. What's the criteria that to make sure the chiller will run energy efficient ways. Therefore, system, okay, by referring to standard, we connect the two and we make the energy management become something that holistic, not just focusing on equipment. Even though if you install, let's say technologically, you can install much more energy efficient equipment. My question now, can that equipment sustain its energy performance by itself without the involvement of the human? Okay, you answer the question. All right. So this is the overall concept, overall definition, and how energy management standard and management system and sustainable energy system are interrelated. Okay. And then normally, what I can see based on many studies, okay, this one I refer to New Zealand, okay, one of the study, okay. So there are some common criteria of organization that are effective in doing energy management. So what are they? Normally they got 5 criteria. One, basically, the awareness level. Okay, normally the awareness are very broad from the top management until the lower level in terms of from top management to the even support staff, to even to the cleaner, to the security guards and all that. So to the top management, middle management, even to the operational staff and support staff. So they know the impact of their activity if they waste energy. They know whatever they do, the impact to the energy, of course, even go beyond impact to the environment. They are aware. Okay, so the top management, whenever they do, when they come, they are even the business planning, everything, they do take into account the energy part of that. Okay, impact of energy performance. And secondly, this organization normally they do collect data, data and information about energy. Okay, they know what they collect. Okay, information that they collect about energy, and then they analyze those data and information, and then they use that output of the analysis in managing the energy. For example, they monitor their energy performance indicator every month. So whenever they see the value deviate from the normal projected value, they take actions. Okay, for example, they take they monitor the monthly bill. Okay, they know the trend every year, which period normally highest consumption, which period normally lowest consumption, what's the average value and all that. So whenever, because they monitor this one ongoing, not just once a year, they monitor maybe there's somebody dedicated and responsible for it every month. So whenever they see any deviation, they take action, investigate instantly, not wait for the next quarter or next year because it's gone. Because so normally they collect and analyze the data and use the data in managing the energy use. And thirdly, normally this kind of company organization, they have the energy management long-term and short-term plan. Okay, some even medium term. Okay, they got something short-term, they got something. So it is a part of the business plan. For example, investment. Not only investment for new machine for the production, for example. There's also investment of if they need to replace the old motors, for example, old system, they consider energy management. There's a budget for that, provided it's economically feasible. So they got a long-term plan. And the fourth one, they often, in this kind of organization, they integrate the task of managing energy into the overall management structure. I mean, they got a dedicated personnel looking into that, they got a management update on that, and then they should be a part of the overall business activities, even in the management structure. It's very well defined and then allocated, and all the resources being provided. And finally, okay, number five, okay, the common feature that for companies, organizations, they are effective in doing energy management is the leadership or the champion. They often have a champion, normally the top management, and then all this normally translated into the effective energy management group or committee. Okay, so normally this group normally is the champion. Okay, if not directly from the top management, but they have shown the commitment. So these are five, common features or common so-called factor, that common feature in typical companies, organizations that are good in energy management program in the organization. And now let's talk about standard. Okay, what are the standards commonly referred in Malaysia? Okay, in Malaysia, normally there are two standards being referred for energy management. The first one is the IMAS, EMGS. IMAS stand for ASEAN Energy Management Scheme. EMGS stand for Energy Management Gold Standard, the rating system. If you look here, they have a criteria. So for under EMGS, they have criteria on assessing means that the completeness or their comprehensiveness of the energy management system that being developed and implemented in the organization. They have management, they have organization, they have process, okay, they have information, they have financial, and also achievement. They have 6 criteria. Okay, and these under the 6 criteria, they have another sub criteria. For example, policy, target, planning and resources, competent person, okay, and then awareness, okay, and then the next one they got the analysis of the energy consumption, and then purchasing, procurement, operational control, maintenance, preventive maintenance, document control, records, communication, reporting, and then budget management, investment, okay, CSR, complying to the legal requirement, okay, performance monitoring, internal audit, and management review. These are, I think this is nothing new. This is common, typical, common feature in any management system. But for energy, they are focusing on the energy performance. And for AMAS EMGS, it comes with a rating and some exclusive requirement for you to get certification. So for the certification, they have 1 star, okay, 2 star or 3 star. It depends on the organization, where they want to go. So they can start with the 1 star and then they have to upgrade for the following stars. Okay, and then there's some exclusive requirement here. For example, the only entity that can conduct the audit is only the Malaysia Green Tech and Climate Change Center, or MGTC of Malaysia, because this is the appointed body under ASEAN. Okay, this one actually initiated by ASEAN member country. Okay, under the ASEAN subsector network on energy efficiency, and they got some exclusive requirement. One is the only one organization can conduct the certification audit. Another one is you need to, part of the requirement, you must have the so-called certified energy manager trained under the IMAS program. Okay, that's another exclusive requirement, and these are well promoted in ASEAN countries. Okay, and then the next one in Malaysia normally being referred is the ISO 5001. If you look here, compare the two, all right? Okay, ISO, they have all the clauses, typical ISO document. Okay, the clauses, the organization, the planning, the supports, and the operation, all that. Almost the way I look at it is two are all about the same, all about the same. So for me, doesn't matter. You pick which one to adopt. Okay, to adopt. Okay, if you adopt any of this, you get energy performance improvement and implement everything. And ISO, of course, published by ISO, International Standardization Organization, or ISO. They don't have the rating. If you want to get certification, they just give you the certification of ISO 5001 certified and being promoted globally. Okay, doesn't matter to me. Okay, so for us, both, for me, both will result in sustainable energy management practices and will improve energy performance. Doesn't matter. So for me, if you ask me which one to pick the one that serves you the most. Okay, serve you more benefit, recognition, and everything. But just for your information, okay, I have some knowledge in this, the background of these two. I was involved directly last time when I was in government. Even now, I'm a practitioner. Okay, if you look at here, okay, the way I look at it, right, if you are adopting, you are following ISO requirement, actually you are, okay, complying to all EMGS requirement, because the foundation of of this IMAS MGS is similar like ISO, almost similar in terms of execution. The only thing is that for IMAS MGS, they have the rating system. That's all. That's why if you want to get recognition, okay, and supporting more recognized in ASEAN, IMAS should be the best option. Depends. So for me, depends whichever. But for me, I'm not promoting certification. Okay, I'm not really promoting information. So whichever you pick to adopt, both are good. Okay, any of good. But for me, if either one, right? If you do IMAS and then you want to get certified ISO, almost similar, because all the key elements, I know it personally. All right, all the key elements are all the same. Okay, nothing new except one have rating, one doesn't have rating, just certification. Okay, now let's have a look, about ISO globally. Okay, ISO 1, this data from ISO, all right? So globally, okay, in 2019, okay, over almost, I would say 18,000, 18,000 organization have been certified for ISO 1. Okay, if you look here, mainly in Germany and China. Okay, in China. All right, and then how many in Malaysia? Based on data that I know, only 34 so far. Okay, and when I was in the conference last week, okay, I saw the presentation by our friend from Indonesia, Dr. Haryanto. All right, Indonesia now they have 144 as for now, 2021. Okay, in Malaysia I know I still less than 50. Okay, less than 50, because Indonesia, they got some kind of government supporting program, for the government look into that as a priority. All right. Okay, so this is the status now in globally for ISO certification at 2019. Okay, this is important. Okay, when you adopt energy management system standard, okay, whichever standard that we use as a reference, okay, it can save energy costs. Okay, if you adopt IMAS, you can save energy cost. If you adopt ISO 1, you can save energy cost, because based on this study by Liu 2018, okay, it showed that but if you institutionalize, ISO 1 as as proven best practice, and you can lead to deep total saving 5 to 20% annually if you're starting from normal business as usual. It's a proven by the study, just quite recent, 2018. Okay, that sorry, institutionalizing, okay, ISO 1 proven best practices, can lead to the deep total saving up to 5 to 20%. Therefore, it's not surprising when I see another paper, a study done by the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory in the US in August 2017. Okay, they study they predict the impact of the ISO on the climate change mitigation. Okay, if you look here, the uptake of the ISO by industrial sector and service sector mainly building sector, is getting increased. The uptake by 2030 expected to be not surprising because it will save energy. So we save energy as a business, save cost, good for the business, improve the profitability. Okay, another study, all right. This is the study uptake, by the same study. Okay, global impact. Okay, sorry, the global impact estimation of ISO 1 engineering system for industrial services sector by in 2016. Okay, if you look here, we are expecting, this is the on annual saving on the left side. Okay, and then the right side is the cumulative saving. Okay, so if you look here, the uptake getting increased and the saving will be much more by 2030. Okay, and based on the study, okay, based on this study, okay, I want to share this. The biggest motivation for ISO 1 certification are, okay, existing value and good because they are being a practice at the company itself. They're being, for example, company in Japan, Europe, they are quite new. It's a part of their practices. It's nothing not new. And then cost saving, okay, environmental sustainability concerns, government incentive or regulations, and also gaining competitive advantage via visibility. This is the motivation. So if you look here, if you look interestingly, right, cost saving is one of many other motivation factor. Okay, cost saving only one of many other motivation why company moving towards adopting the even up to certification of the ISO 1. So that's why it's beyond just energy cost saving. Semua concern. Okay, sometimes the way I look at it, my experience tells me that sometimes saving doesn't sell. They have to use other concern, other pressing so-called issue that will drive people to move towards energy management. Okay, sometimes saving doesn't sell. Based on the study, quite recent, this study by Fuchs, okay, 2020, quite recent, okay, last year, okay, published last year, quite recent. Means that this is the reflection of the, the expression of the needs to adopt certain guide, which is the standard. In this example, they're talking about ISO because it is a global standard. Another interesting fact here, if you look here, in the US, I managed to find a study, right? Study done by the US under the, okay, under the under the so-called ACC summer study for buildings, okay, in 2018 in US, okay. So this is the estimated annual and cumulative saving of energy consumption, cost and CO2 emission from adoption of, okay, okay, ISO, there's one in the US commercial sector. If you look here, I'd like to highlight this one. Okay, annual savings, cumulative savings. If you look here, they are talking about billions, okay, of savings yearly and also from 2011 until 2030. Okay, and also at the same time, they can also save their primary energy supply. Mean that the fuel being used for energy supply. Okay, for generation and so on. Here, billion primary energy here. This is the annual energy primary. Another one, if you look here, if you look at the scenario here, they got many scenario here. Look at the bottom one. Economic potential of adopting ISO 2001. Okay, look here, economic potential, enormous. Okay, billions. You're talking about billions of savings in terms of RM, in terms of monetary values. Okay, it's huge. And look at the right side, the far right side of this slide. Look here. Look at in terms of perspective, right? You look here, annual saving context. How much? This is the amount of how many passenger vehicle you can remove from these savings. Millions of cars can be removed from the road in the US by adopting ISO 1. If you look here. So this will involve the GHG emission in all the environmental issue. See the impact just from adoption of the ISO 1. Interesting. Okay, interesting. Okay. And then next one. Okay. Another one, and we go to the next part. Okay, this is quite extreme, I think in the US and other countries, mostly they are all adopting the standard. Even certification are mainly are voluntary. It's not mandatory. It's voluntary. It's quite voluntary because the whole idea is the benefit more to the one that adopt the standard, not to the government so much. You know. But if you look at Japan, interesting in Japan, from this study by Kimura and Noda 2014, okay, okay, interesting. I found this study in Japan, under the energy conservation law, they got the regulation. They have the regulation. Under the regulation of their law, okay, they have their own energy management system standard to be referred in implementing the law. So when they enforce the law, okay, and in Japan, when they enforce the energy conservation law, they have their own standard to be referred, by company that affected by the law on how they're supposed to comply through the systematic approach. They have their own energy management system standard. But interesting here, okay, based on the study, when they conduct the study is about the impact of the conservation law. You look here, they compare the requirement under ISO 2001, okay, based on the PDCA cycle, okay, plan, do, check, and action cycle, and then they compare with the provision in their law, in the energy conservation law and its standard, energy management standard. You look here, you know. Interestingly to know that if you look here, so it's almost equivalent to requirement in the ISO 2001. I know energy conservation law in Japan much earlier than ISO 2001 because ISO 2001 was published in 2011. But the law in Japan has been there for over 40 over years. All right. But so the interesting part, right? Okay, let's look here. This study on 2014. Okay, if they refer to this standard, yeah, ISO 2001, this should be the first version of the standard, 2011 version, ISO 2001, 2011 version. Look here. All right, so it's always, okay, it's always almost similar. So in Japan, they adopt the standard in their own law, the way I look at it. So it means that there's more motivation, okay, for their company who have to comply to legal requirement to do it, because if they do it, it's almost guaranteed. It's also guaranteed for them to get the performance improvement and energy cost reduction because they are following the standard. Interestingly, right? Okay, interesting. If you look here, all the same. I just show a part of that. Okay, you can Google this study, Kimura and Noda 2014. Okay, interesting. So in Japan, they make it easier for them, for everyone. They adopt the standard, means that the requirement of the standard equivalent to the requirement. Even their law become more detailed, more prescriptive than the standard. Interesting. Okay. And now let me share with you some success story about adoption of the standard, even certified with the standard as well. Okay. In Malaysia, I think among the well-known, best practice, achievement, by Malaysian organization is by UTM. Okay, they are among the pioneer adopting the MRCMGS. Okay, they only so far they get 3 star. Okay, how much they save? As a public university, this is very commendable effort. Well done, UTM. Okay, headed by Professor Zainuddin Manan. Okay, I know him personally. He's very humble, very passionate about energy efficiency. All right, and then you look here. There's UTM saved, 7 million from 2011, 2014, and still saving until today. Okay, and there are many benefits. If you look here, in Malaysia, there are some organizations adopting the MS as well. We have now 148 government hospital under MOH, Ministry of Health, few private hospital under the KPJ, DBKL, IJN, even the PM office in Putrajaya. Okay, this is very successful, big proven. Okay, and then if you look at ISO global success stories, because ISO is global standard, I share with you here some success stories from different type of the organizations. If you look here, municipal government, and then here the right here, even power plant. Power plant utility company is adopting the standard and they get certified. If you look here, the important part is the payback period. It's quite short, you see, interestingly. Okay, and normally if you adopt the system, normally they will look into the first part, the low energy cost, low and low and no cost, and then they move on. They want to get more better, that they can start to invest. If you look here, the payback period. Okay, you see how much they save, how much CO2 reduction. Okay, how much they save. You look at the payback period, even shorter. They want even public utility company in Indonesia, power plant, adopting the three of their side, adopt the ISO 1. Okay, and then Hilton hotels. Okay, bank. Okay, the interesting part. Look at the payback period, very quick. Less than 1 year, less than 1 year. Okay, and then another one, airports in Beijing. Okay, airport in Beijing, less than 1 month payback period. Save about 1.9, almost 10, 9 over million. Okay, US dollar for almost in 3 years. And then university in Dublin, more than 10 million over 11 years. Payback, less than one year. And then another one, you look at another example here, small office in Argentina. This, for example, very good government office. Not much saving, but still good. Still saving. For government facility, government building is good, to lead by example. And then here, even in Dubai, Road and Transport Authority. They are in the Road and Transport Authority. Okay, they are managing the transport sector, but they also adopted ISO 1. Less than 3 months, saving almost 12 million US dollar over 4 years. Interesting. Okay, very fast. And then, of course, factories, in US, and in port, even port in Chile. All right, and then, of course, factory in Korea. Okay, example, less than 5 months. Okay, saving over almost 12 million over 1 year. Okay, and then Google. Okay, Google, this is interesting. Okay, Google, okay, for their SQ and 12 sites across 6 countries, the cost saving alone, interesting. The cost saving alone over 1 billion US dollar. You know what's long the payback period? Less than 1 year. Okay, so if you look here, this is a living example. It's no doubt at all. Okay, if you adopt the energy management system standard, you will save energy cost. Not only that, when you save energy cost, the impact beyond that, environment impact, CO2 emission reduction and all that. Beyond that, okay, so it's a living. So it's no, I don't see any more doubt. Shouldn't be any more doubt or questions. If I adopt, will I save or not? Yes, you will. I can guarantee you that. These are all the examples. Okay, and then you can't avoid from talking about this. Success factor and challenges. It's not easy because this is management. Management, we cannot always solve it through one book or one formula. Okay, so normally, so that I would like to share you here a success factor against challenges. Okay, this is based on study, coalition study by in 2021. Okay, because this study, studied about what are the drivers, benefit and challenges of ISO 1 implementation. Okay, this is the finding. Okay, if you look here, they put a quote here: CEO, top management, culture, information, awareness, silo, finance, and time. Okay, and then you look here, the first here, key to success. The first one, support from the top management, corporate level program, leadership. This outlined in the requirement under ISO 1, even EMAS. Okay, and then culture. Okay, culture, when adopt the standard, everyone follow the same way, have the common goal, common objective, common targets, and then follow similar, the same procedure, same SOP, same manual, same guides, same instruction, and all that. Okay, it will be finally become a culture. And information here, reliable and accurate energy metering. So requirement of the data, that again data collection. Okay, how you understand the data, how you make use of the data. Okay, and then awareness. So that's why this is, I mentioned earlier in my earlier presentation, right? One of the key success factor is the broad level of awareness from the top until the all level of the staff. Okay, another one, okay, reduction of the silo, meaning working in silo. Okay, for the success factor, for the be successful, each department must work together. start with the committee. So must be presented by the every department that related to energy. For example, productions, procurement, HR, and all that. You must they know where they cross each other when it comes to energy, because all of them, after all, is energy users, and the resources finance. So mean that there's a long term, okay. They got the budget, they got they got people accountable for the budget, because normally companies who are successful in the management, they look at energy management budget as part of their business investment as well. And finally, systematic approach will minimize the time of implementation, because systematic, we have a process of making decision, we have the process of assessing the criteria and all that. And of course, this is the success factor. Now let's look at the challenges. I won't elaborate further here. Challenges is anything against this one, against success factor. Okay, so whatever you cannot get here is in the success factor are challenges. Okay, so my question is that, so which one is more, human or technical challenges? If you ask me, my answer is, I think, and also from my experience, energy management, the biggest challenge is always the human. Human. But out of this study, the way I look at it, how I can summarize that, this is the only technical part of that. Okay, this is the only technical part of the overall success of the system implementation. The rest are all involved mainly human. So that's why management all about managing the human, is the main success factor we have to look into. Okay, so this is not easy. So these are the success factor and challenges in implementing a human system, even you want to adopt the standard. So what the benefit of get certified? Okay, so let's say you have adopted the system, you got the result. Okay, maybe I think we are human. Okay, even some company, they have to get certified because requirement of the business, for them to enter the market, for them to get a client, because a client set the requirement. I saw many of my clients, they get certified because of the business requirement. And even some corporate directive, because about achieving the SDGs, or achieving the so-called national global commitment about the climate change mitigation. Okay, so if you get certified, okay, you want to get recognition, go. For me, go to get certified if that gives you better benefits in terms of everything, in terms of better performance, in terms of recognition. Go. Why not? After all, you have enjoyed the benefits. Okay, and then this is based on from IEA. Normally, if you get certified, because when you get certified, be more commitment, because become a official, become a commitment. At least you know that every year you'll be audited, for example, for the surveillance audit. Okay, you know that you have commitment, because there are third party will come and check you. So therefore, based on this, based on the IEA, okay, firms are that are ISO 01 certified, we save more, because more intense in terms of commitment, because somebody will check. All right, so commitment will be, and then this is good for business. All right, if you save more, good for business. But at the same time, okay, if you adopt the system standard, and get certified, it will help to achieve the SDG. You can contribute to achieve the SDGs. Okay, because that can help. Okay, because by reducing energy consumption or improve your performance, okay, you can address energy efficiency and climate change challenges. Can be part of the one of the 17 goals in the SDGs. Okay, so it get benefits. Okay, so how to get started? Okay, this is how. So if you want to get started, let's say if you want to get started, all right, what you can do, okay, in particular, all right, I think my battery about to, okay, have to charge. All right, okay, should be here. All right, okay, battery. Right, interruption. Okay, how to get started? How to get started? The first thing, as a business, if your business, build a business case. All about business. So we must have a strong business case. So you must have the business mind, not just about kilowatt hour reduction. Secondly, you must make sure you can communicate the impact of energy system adoption in terms of financial to the financial people. What are benefit of energy system adoption through the standard? How that can affect the business performance? If you want to invest, require investment. How that will link with the financial criteria of the organization? So financially, whoever champion this one, okay, normally engine managers they have to effectively communicate in terms of financial to the right decision makers, the right team. And the third one, okay, you must you must be convinced, you must be presented convincingly the concept, the idea, why it's become a need for the company, how you can make it, adopting this, adopting the standard or implementing management system itself is not an option, it's a must. Okay, it's no longer an option. And finally, okay, you must find a way how we can turn energy savings from management system implementation into a ongoing process. And to do that normally, you must be able to track the performance. That's why in the system, they must establish the right performance indicator. You must establish the proper energy baseline for that you can monitor the performance improvement. And you must record that. And that you must track the performance. And that all that must be made visible, must be made visible so that everyone can see. Decision makers can see that. Financial people can see that. Finance people can see that. Everyone can see that. So it's become ongoing, not just projects. Projects normally after handing over, that's all. No one is there, no one is exactly monitor does that project perform accordingly or not. So again, 4 items: build the business case, how to get started, build a very compelling business case, and communicate effectively in terms of financial impact, and then how you can pitch the concept, how you can present the concept to the decision makers to make it it's no longer an option. And finally, you have to make sure that savings from the energy system implementation or performance improvement, it's a continuous process for the organization. And to do that, you must be able to track it and then make it visible for everyone to see the impact in terms of energy, in terms of financial, and all that. Okay. And finally, the question is that do we need to get certified? Based on this, I managed to source from this from the EU, okay, National Scheme for Energy Efficiency in the SMEs, in EU. Okay, they mentioned here the ISO 2001 certification route to end engagement system is not obligatory. It is possible for an organization to adopt its guiding principle and aligns its internal ENMS to the ISO structure without external certification. The point here, you don't have certification is not a must unless it is a must for you as a company. It's because the market requirement and so on. Okay, because according to this statement again, okay, I continue here. Regardless of if certified or not, the benefits of implementing the standard can be still observed. Even though you don't get certified, if you really follow the standard requirement, you implement accordingly, okay, benefits can be observed through the implementation of the best practice driven by the system itself. Okay, so it's not a must to get certified. So that's why when we talk about standard for any system, we don't directly talk about certification. That's the later part. Put aside first. If you ask me how I can put my opinion on certification or not in words, okay, this is, you can read this one, okay. For me, certification is recommended only if there is a need for engagement system to demonstrate its credibility of the established system and to externally communicate an organization's management credential. Only if it needs, you have to show to something as evidence, required to show the evidence. Okay? If not, just adopt the energy management system standard. What I mean here, any standard. Okay, not only ISO 1, any standard for energy management. Because I know most standard for energy management system or energy management are all the same. The C components still the same. So just adopt the energy management system standard as a start and take it from there. That's from me. Okay, so that from me. Okay, so with that, I hope this sharing, right, enlighten you further, okay, on how adopting the standard energy management can help to achieve your business goal, and not only business goal, and also the sustainability goals, which is involve environment protections, mitigation of the climate change impact, and achieving all the global target, for example, the sustainable development goals, okay, that being shared by almost all countries in the global community now. Okay, with that, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening. I hope if you have any question or query, you can always email me to the to the contact, the email and I put here. All right. So thank you very much for watching, and until we meet up again in the next video, stay safe. Okay, stay healthy. Okay, and we are not we are not out of the pandemic yet. Okay, but always stay vigilant. Okay, get your vaccine. All right, and then with that, thank you very much. Okay, until the next video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Okay, stay energy efficient, be energy